Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So continuing on with 40 recommendations for the Muslim home, where we left off on taking careful note of the family or extending it to your companionship, the ones who you're dealing with, if you're trying to build some form of a community, some brotherhood, or do some business with, right? Taking note of the family members and whoever you're around, who look for who the strengths, the weaknesses, what they good at, so that everybody can be put in a position to strengthen one another, where everybody know how to play their role to just be effective and being able to lean on one another, so that's what we kind of left off at, right? So some of the points that some of the important points are the supervision, the way, because when we extending it to the companionship and the friendship, it's not like you supervising your friends or anything like that, but a form of supervision, having a watchful eye, should be subtle from the background, especially when when you're dealing with your family, because the reason why it should be subtle, sometimes when you're dealing with people and they feel like you watching them and paying close attention to them, they tend to get sneakier. Let me figure out how to do these things or get away with things in a certain type of way because I know they paying attention to me. So it should be subtle. Pay attention from a distance, because you definitely want to get all issues corrected. Islamic knowledge, manners, characteristics, things like that, right? And it shouldn't be like a terrorizing atmosphere. Like how I say, some people will rule their marriages, even if it's stepchildren, their own children. They rule their marriages and families with an iron fist. And like I say, generally, man, when people try to rule with an iron fist, you could just end up with a crushed army. You see what I'm saying? So it shouldn't be a terrorizing atmosphere. Same with some of your companions, who you trying to do business with. It shouldn't be the type of atmosphere that's uncomfortable, the type of atmosphere where people are afraid to be in, the type of atmosphere like for the men, y'all doing business, y'all trying to start a community, and something where y'all want to start to make the neighborhood safe, but let's say it's 10 men, but all 10 of y'all, where y'all come meet at, y'all got to have a gun on you, just like how you see certain people in the streets. They all got to have a gun on them just to come be around each other. Don't trust each other. This isn't a good atmosphere to be in. So you want it to be, even in the home and extending to companionships, you want it to be a safe, warm, welcoming environment. You don't want the kids to be scared to come home after school, where they might just start trying to stay out. Ended up just around some bad companionship because they don't want to come home under that iron fist, with a mother who taking out the anger on the kids because she mad at the father, or a stepfather who taking out the anger on the kids because he don't like their real father, or he mad at the mother, or just taking out unnecessary anger from the world on the kids. Might have some type of drug addiction, mother and father. And I mean, this even with Muslim parents, and might not be able to get the drugs, so they beating the kids, doing certain things to the kids, and the kids just scared to come home, so they just trying to stay out. And sometimes when they don't got nowhere else to go, they end up around bad companionship. And in some cities, unfortunately, that bad companionship, might be other Muslims. Just in reality. You know what I'm saying? Just because another person is Muslim, man, and we starting to be able to see this more and more every day for people who keeping a watchful eye, a mindful eye, and not blinding themselves, and accepting the fact that all Muslims is not good companionship. They not. You see what I'm saying? So you want to have a decent, calming Islamic environment in your home with your companions who, like I said, even if y'all trying to get together and start your own community, a masjid, a place to worship, just any type of gathering where the Muslims can grow together and practice Islam peacefully and lean on each other the way that it should be, right? And when it comes to the children must be made to feel that they can be trusted, right? And advice and or punishment must be measured against the ages of the children, their levels of understanding, and the extent of the wrongful behavior. The punishment must fit the crime, and then there should be certain measures. First, I'm going to talk to you and explain to you exactly what you did wrong, right? But even before that, we're going to set some boundaries and say, look, if you're doing this and that in school, it's going to lead to this, that, and the third. Now, if I haven't made certain clears and then you cross those boundaries, but it's not that bad, I'm going to explain to you exactly what you did wrong and say, don't do this again. But then once you overstep those boundaries, then it's going to lead to some level of discipline. But it's going to start with a conversation first. And even when it turns to the point where there has to be some discipline, it's going to fit the punishment. But then at the same time, you don't want to be too lenient, because as you can see now, some of the youth, they out of control. But when you sit up in the household, or when you see their interaction with their parents act like they their friends. Some of these parents, man, they do drugs with their kids. They smoke marijuana with their kids. And their kids still be teenagers. These things can be a mistake, and they could be detrimental. Some people, when their kids be very young and their kids be bad at school or family reunions or family functions, and you got the kid that beat up the other little kids, and you got the daughter that talks super sassy to their grandmother, but they like 4 and 5, and people think it's cute. And they continue to think it's cute and think it's funny. It's something to laugh at and make TikTok videos out of it. But once they start getting 15 and 16, And this behavior has enhanced, and now they acting a fool out on the streets. You can't reel them back in. You know, these things that we really got to be mindful of. And like I said, man, a proper Muslim home, right? Homes can start to adjust the communities. You see what I'm saying? Everything starts from the home. Good behavior and bad behavior. Knowing how to act and not knowing how to act. A lot of this stuff starts in the home, right? And once you start to get out there as an adult or in a youth, and like I say, start to develop companionships, your behavior is what's going to dictate how those friendships and companionship goes. Whether you're trying to start a community, whether you're trying to do business, brothers and sisters, whatever it is. And like I say, man, I'm an analytical person. And I've been watching people. I'm just a people watcher. Like, I just always been like that, you know. Because like I said, man, like, when you grow up in an environment, like the stuff that I'm starting to see from the youth, like I said, man, we was living like that 30-something years ago. You know, some areas always had certain forms of violence, but not like certain areas on the East Coast, because like I said, they wasn't on the East Coast. It may be about your block, this crew, that crew. So like the whole city and surrounding cities wasn't governed by gang culture, but now it's starting to be just like the seed. Like I'm looking at Muslims in New York, right? The brother from Chicago, Sadiq, right, from Muslamatic University, he's been going from city to city and going to the worst areas where the Muslims live at, because, you know, he from Chicago, so he grew up in this. So he been going from city to city to the worst areas. So he went to where the Muslims are, right? And trying to push peace like they doing in Chicago. And to see him go to New York, right? And I've been familiar with this for some years, but it's starting to, it wasn't creeped into the Muslim Ummah. But now it has creeped into the Muslim Ummah, where he's going to an area where you have Muslims who Crips, which is a West Coast gang, right? And Muslims who GDs, which is an Illinois gang, and they're fighting and killing each other. The Crips and the GDs is fighting and killing each other in New York. And it's been going on for a minute, but now both sides starting to become Muslim. But the fact that they became Muslim hasn't stopped them killing each other. So by him being a person who come from it, like I said, man, you know, for us, the way that they moving and this type of stuff that's going on, it was like that for us 30 plus some years ago. And just sitting down, talking to these Muslim youth, and the thing that kind of separate them, because in New York, they may be the first Muslims in their families, or they may have had a great grandfather or something, because they still pretty young, who was like a member of the Nation of Islam, and they didn't, you know, the grandfather didn't transition with Elijah Muhammad's son to real Islam, and then his family, his children didn't pick it up. So they may be like the first real Muslim in their family. That kind of separate them from like people in the Philly, Jersey area. Because they great grandparents were Sunni Muslims without Wharf Dean. You know what I'm saying? So they great grandparents was Muslim, they grandparents was Muslims, they mother and father was Muslim. Now they Muslim. But they out there cutting up, see? And that was just that even like I said, it was just strange to me just seeing in New York that it's a war between GDs and Crips. Because New York is starting to transition to where gang culture is starting to govern the city. As before, when it was just, this is our block, but they wasn't necessarily fighting each other. It wasn't necessarily a fighting and killing all the time. Or, we got us a little crew over here, but it ain't technically governed by gang culture. Like a Illinois and a California. And some of these others where everything is just governed by gang culture. But when he sit down with these youth and you hear their stories, where's the father? Where's the mother? Like, mom's was on drugs, pop locked up, pop got killed. My grandmother technically tried to raise me. She did her best. But, I still had a grown uncle who lived there. I had an auntie with, basically his grandmother kids. My auntie had 6, 7 kids that she couldn't take care of. So they was at grandma's house with me. You know what I'm saying? Can't neither one of them carry the weight on their own, but grandma carrying the weight of her grown kids and her grandkids without a husband. So I had to get out there and do what I had to do. I ended up in foster care. I ended up in juvenile facilities. It was in this juvenile detention center where I met a Muslim guard, or I met a Muslim brother whose father was Muslim. It was when I got to the adult penitentiary. The leader of this Crip set, the leader of this GD set that I joined, he got slammed. You know what I'm saying? He got hit with the RICO Act, and when he got locked up with his 50, 60 years of life sentence, he turned Muslim. Then he sent the word out, he flew the kite, that we need to become Muslim. Like I said, and this was the same thing for us 30, 40 years ago. The Islam come with the gang. Because the chiefs get locked up and became Muslim. Now, whoever in the gang, you have to be Muslim. So some people just Muslim because it come with the gang. And I like the way the brother is moving around, dealing with it, right? And trying to help them. But he's pushing a peace message. Not put the guns down and fight. Get out there in the streets. Forget the fighting and all that. Get out in the streets and get to hustling. You know what I'm saying? Rob, steal, shoot dice, sell whatever is you can sell, which is still keeping them in a street culture. Nah, change your life. Get on this hawk. Start working. Start a family. Teach your kids to be the opposite of what you are, not to be a better version of what you became. Trying to help them develop some type of Muslim household and have Islamic etiquettes, because that's where it's going to start, at home. So another point is, be aware of negative methods of checking on children and making them feel that their every move is being watched. You know what I'm saying? But not also on that note, you got to be aware of any negative influences that they may bring into the house. And they got to be age appropriate. what they watching on TikTok, what they looking at on their phones and their tablets, you know, who they hanging with. You know what I'm saying? Children gonna get to a certain age and you can't leave the house with them everywhere where they go, especially if they go into public school. But you have to prepare them to deal with bad influences in a different way. Everything can't be about throwing knuckles. If this person hit you, hit them back, which is understandable. But opposed to that, kind of like the way where I dealt with my children, don't even put yourself in a position where somebody is calling themselves trying to hit you and you have to defend yourself. And you know, my children grew up boxing and in martial arts. So I always gave them that jewel, never overwhoop a person. If you and a person get to the point where y'all have to throw hands, just get control of them. Don't try to beat them half to death. Don't overwhoop them and try to embarrass them. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they got something and they trying to kill you, overwhoop them to get yourself up out of that. Or if it's just a tough fight and you doing what you got to do, that's a different story. But just try to bring it down to where you controlling them. Because if you overwhoop them, they're never going to forget that and they're going to want to take it to the next level. But first and foremost, be proactive. Peep out the energy in the room and don't put yourself in a type of position where you're around somebody that's going to call themselves trying to put their hands on you, where you have to defend yourself. That's first. You see what I'm saying? That's first. So be those more proactive matters. Don't be the tough person. Just be cool. Try to be friends with everybody. Have enough respect for yourself that you don't need everybody else's respect. You ain't got to worry about their respect or them being disrespectful because you're not going to be in that environment. You see what I'm saying? And when you have enough respect for yourself, there's really not going to be any need for anybody to disrespect you. If they do try to disrespect you, it's going to be out of some form of jealousy or somebody else whispering in their ear because they jealous of you. Man, I don't like such and such. Man, it's such and such this way. And then they want to make them feel some type of way. And then that person might want to impress them and become their mouthpiece. And then because they don't know what's to you, they don't know what type of knuckle game or abilities that you have, they might test you. So before it even come to that, it's time to move around, which is an Islamic principle. Choose your companions extremely wisely. You got to be very wise when it comes to choosing the company that you're going to keep. And you don't want to get to the point, and this has to start with your children, and you don't want to get to the point where you in a toxic environment where toxicity is the law of the land and you don't know how to not be toxic. So the friends and the environments that you choose is going to be toxic. Some people grew up in homes that were so dysfunctional where they end up in friendships that's so dysfunctional, you can't take them and have them be friends with anybody else. Like for instance, if you got a group of college kids, they were straight A students, they didn't get in trouble in school, in high school. You know, they wasn't like athletes. They didn't play the basketball and football, but they may have been in like the debate club or the chess club or the tech club, right? And then this group, now they going to college. They finna transition into college. But then this person, he grew up around parents on drugs, uncles on drugs, gang banging older brothers, you know what I'm saying? And sister 13, 14, got a baby, stripping for 20-something-year-old men, and out here getting picked up by some 30-year-old cat in the Benz that's really broke, picking her up at high school, giving her $40, $50. So now she's instilling this behavior into the other sister, but because some people grow up like that. But now when it's time to go to high school, these kids, go to college, this group going to college, this group is dropping out and going to jail or quitting to get whatever type of job they have because they done had a baby since they was 13. Sometimes you can't take this group from the dysfunction and put them with the group of functioning people. They won't fit in. So they have to continue to hang around these type of people until they get sick of it. And then they just don't have no friends at all and they lonely. But then their kids may be of age because they done had kids since they was 13, 14, the male and the females. And then, their companionship be their kids. But they don't realize that they're toxic because it's all that they know. And me speaking on this, because you can start to see anybody who be real with theyself and be honest with theyself, and they of some type of age, they can see this stuff creeping into the Muslim Ummah. It just may have not hit your city yet, or you not in the mix enough with the Muslims in your city because you don't go to the masjid. You haven't made Muslim friends yet because they may still be a little standoffish because they don't know you. But this might even be the city you from. So you may not know it, but just look at how it's getting. And then look at the homes. Do these Muslim kids, man, these Muslim people, are they coming from a real strong Muslim home? A lot of the times, no. It may be strong in speech. Tawheed, Tawheed, Aqidah, Aqidah. But daddy might be a perkhead beating on the mother who may be going somewhere else getting money from somebody else who want to be with her to feed y'all because he on perks, but she earning that $40. She earning that $50. And the dad know it. And he beating the brakes out of her every time he ain't got no perks. But they Muslim. He getting his perks from a Muslim. She getting her she earning her $40, $50 from a Muslim too. This is real life. This is real life. And it's unfortunate, man. You know what I'm saying? And I talk to a lot of Muslims, man, and it's just seeing over the years. And wallahi, man, wallahi, listening to Muslim sisters break down, crying bad, saying, man, I ain't nothing but a hole in a hijab. And serious. Man, I ain't nothing but a hole in a hijab. Sometimes I don't even be having the words. Man, don't look at yourself like that. You know what I'm saying? But they know their reality. It's just unfortunate, man. And or a Muslim couple, man, and this dude on perks. This dude, like in 2024, 2025, this dude like 33 years old and he's still smoking crack. I didn't even know people still smoke crack. Or like the areas where we are, Meth was like a white people drug. You know, he a 33, 34-year-old black person on meth and perk, smoking it, snorting it, and drinking crazy. Salafi. Go to a Salafi masjid where some of the biggest names is the imams there. But then when he go and get his perks and do his perk thing and doing all this other little drugs, he with other members from the Salafi community, whooping his wife while she pregnant and all type of stuff. And then I have to be the one to sit up FaceTiming with them, trying to talk some sense into both of them, and then they don't even be married. It's the Muslim Ummah, man. This is the Muslim Ummah. Is that a Muslim home? Their kids is seeing this. You understand? And then it's going towards the type of problems that we see in today. So the next point, number 17, is paying attention to the children in the home. Right? Paying attention to the children in the home. People know that their kids be bad in the house, right? They know their kids be bad on the streets. But see, our problem is this. We defend them. We defend them. Especially the mothers. Your son, you right now, even some of these Muslim women, man, they sons can go out here and be done killed 10, 15 people. When the police catch them, everybody in the city know it. They know it because other mothers and stuff is man, your son out here killing people. Your son done killed 3 other Muslims. No, my son would never do. I know my baby. My son would never do nothing like that. But in the house, they scared of their son. They scared their son might kill them. But we defend them, see? And it started off defending them when they was bad as a little kid and you thought it was cute. And then you didn't want to correct some of it. You wanted him to be lightweight bad because you expected him to become the man and the protector of your home, because you can't keep a man in it. So I need him to be bad. I need him to be tough. Because the next time I get one of these deadbeats up in here that go upside my head because he ain't got his perks, my son gonna take care of that. But instead, he end up being the killer in the streets. Muslim, kill you at the Eid, kill you at the masjid. Because now he living up to the reputation that he done earned. You know what I'm saying? But we defend him. And I'm finna wrap it up, but I gotta close on this, man, and this gonna be the last time, man, I speak on this Philly incident. Because now the typical behavior of the adults and the leadership, right? Because it happened under their watch. They know who some of these kids is, and now more and more of the videos is being posted anyway after they try to keep them from getting posted. For one, how it's going to make them look, and two, the police might see who in the videos doing stuff and come arrest them. And now that more and more videos are starting to come out, and then like some of the kids going home making videos about what was going on. You know, that's the new thing. They're self-snitching. And, you know, these younger cats, you know, 19, 20, They making videos talking about what went on, why it went on. But now the leadership of those groups already trying to defend the kids and this and that, right? But the people who saying something about them, the leadership is trying to warn again. Oh man, you making takfir of all the Muslims in the whole city. No, they not. Quit trying to sound overly educated. Take that same energy and go say something to them kids, and then slipping out in they so little refutations to people who's speaking out against what went happen. Well, you know, maybe we know some of those kids. We know y'all know them. We know y'all was expecting what was going on. That's why y'all had metal detectors. That's what the purpose of the metal detectors was for. Because y'all know what's going on. Y'all know who's going to be there. But why is it going to jump off outside? Because y'all got metal detectors. And they got weapons on them. So they not going in there. Then y'all want to get on the news. Oh, well, it don't have nothing to do with what's going on. It was just some kids outside. They wasn't nothing here for the Eid. But then when the videos start coming out, they in thobes and niqabs and hijabs. Clearly they Muslim kids that came there for the Eid. Seeing all the kids with their phone out, recording, laughing, while they shooting and fighting. Video of a young sister, niqab and everything, but she got her niqab like pulled up and tied around the top of her head. She on somebody's car trying to bust the windows. Even while they driving, she steady trying to bust the front window, where she stand up on the car and start stomping the window. All the kids is recording her. She's clearly a Muslim sister at the Eid. Now, why is she trying to bust the window or what? I don't know the situation. The police but all the other Muslims, instead of saying, hey, get down off of that car. The rest of these, and I'm going to tell y'all something. And now that I'm looking at more of them videos, it's all type of grown people out there. Just standing there watching it. It ain't just all kids. And the kids, though, while she up there stomping, the kids laughing. But they not like little kids. We refer to them as kids. But some of them like in their early 20s. Middle 20s. It ain't all like 14, 15, like because they using the word teenagers. These kids who old enough to know better. But we refer to them as kids, although they still in their 20s. The police had to come get that girl off that car. And as she's stepping down and they pulling her down off that car, what they did, bent her right over the exact same car and cuffed her up. And in the video of the person who recording it from the angle that I seen, it's 2-3 other kids out there recording it too. So it all depends on which video you seen and from which angle. And they laughing. Oh, look at her. And there's grown people right over there just stand up on the wall. Muslim men. Big beards. I'm sitting up seeing Muslim men, man, about 40. 45. Muslim women, grown people. Standing up there watching that girl stomp all on the car. Watching these kids arguing to the fight getting ready to break out in the shooting. Because once they start arguing, the phones is already out. So the shooting and everything is on there. But in the videos that I'm starting to see that's come out, it's grown Muslim men just standing there on the sidewalk like this. In their 40s and 50s. Ain't telling them to stop. Ain't telling them to chill out. Ain't saying, hey, Salam said, Prophet Salam, you know how some of them say. Ain't saying nothing. But when other people come out and say something about the behavior, the so-called leadership from these gatherings is arguing and debating and trying to refute people because they said something about it. And the way they spread in this little meme that somebody posted and said, Islam in Philly is the new ratchet. But this Muslims from Philly posting Islam in Philly is the new ratchet. Germantown even shared the little meme or whatever. But not only them, but other people, I done seen it just spreading around. Islam in Philly is the new ratchet. But nobody is really defending it except for the people that was involved in the event. Oh, don't forget you was young, this and that, woo wop the woo. What about the grown people who standing there watching them act a dang fool? You know what I'm saying? Watching the whole thing. The only difference between the grown people and the kids had their phone out recording it. But the grown people standing there just watching it just as much as them. You know what I'm saying? We always trying to defend the wrong people. You're going to argue and fight with the people who saying something about it. And that's why I always say the people who willing to speak out against this behavior got to deal with the Muslims who feel like that's offensive. Oh, you can't say nothing about it. You was a kid once. Yeah, I was a kid once, but I wasn't shooting up no Eid. I wasn't trying to kill nobody at Jumar. Shooting somebody in the head, getting blood all over y'all favorite imam, trying to get him in the car. Yeah, we was kids once. We wasn't shooting up the Eid every year. You understand what I'm saying? But you're steady trying to defend it. This is the giving them kids the green light. Hey, the grown people don't care. They standing right there on the sidewalk watching us. And these is not little 13, 14-year-old kids. Some of these people in their 20s. While the grown people standing out there watching it. I seen them in the videos. The videos that they was trying to tell people not to post. You know, but it's that behavior. Like, let's say for instance, all of us, you know, for us who work or have worked, we're not responsible for what other people at our job do when they not at work. We might not even know what they have going on. You have some Muslims who work for the same company. One Muslim may go and do, I'm going to be more specific, and to show the environment that they create, because they want to do all this. Or you takfiring all the Muslims, you declaring this, you doing this and that. No, they speaking about what people doing openly in public that they seen with their own eyes because they was there, or they seen the videos, or their kids was there and told them what happened. So they speaking out against it. They want it to stop. But y'all defending them. So you have situations, and it come back up 20 years ago. Tahir works for the same place as Omar Suleiman, right? Although Omar went and did something, cool. It's cool to feel the way you feel about it. You don't even have any knowledge if Tahir knew he was finna go do that. You don't know what Tahir said to him when he came back. He never ever done it again. You don't know the discussions from them, but instead of refuting that guy, you never even seen anywhere where Tahir stood up and defended his actions. But because Tahir, you don't even know if Tahir still works there. But because you had some type of idea that he worked there, and this is the crazy part. This is a huge company. Tahir's still in Philly. The company is in Texas, where the person is at who did the act. He's living in Texas. You don't even know if Tahir even had any knowledge that that man was finna go do that. But instead of refuting that man and the other hundreds of people that also work for there, they call themselves refuting Tahir. Oh, he's defending him. He won't speak out. He's not doing this. He's not acting how we acting. Was Tahir up there with him? Was Tahir there? But they gotta make 1,000,000 videos and tear him down because they not on his level. Did y'all call him and say, hey Tahir, did you have any knowledge that that man was finna go do that? Because y'all work at the same place? Nah. But instead of making it about the person who did something, y'all make it about Tahir. Without any knowledge of knowledge that he had, whether he said something to the person, whether he even knew the person was going to do it. Because they work at the same place. Tahir in Philly, this man all the way in Texas. The company is in Texas. But when other people come out and speak about y'all behavior and truthful, oh, they takfiring all the Muslims. You takfiring the whole city. They learned it from you. You, the leadership, they learned it from y'all. Y'all was the first people to start all the, oh, his name on a flyer. That's a masjid a bit out of, oh man, anybody who salam one of them, see him in a restaurant and shake their hand, now you an innovator. Oh, you friends with such and such on Facebook and they wear colorful hijabs. Now you off it. They learned it from y'all. But the difference is they speaking from the truth, not from an assumption or not something that they conjure up because they need to make everybody else look bad so they can continue to look good. Y'all got issues with y'all own behavior. But see, y'all want to take accountability for it. And now y'all want to sit up and defend this stuff and tell people don't post no videos. Because one, it's going to be another stain on y'all. And two, the police is going to look at it and see the people who acting a fool in the video that they didn't catch. And then they might figure out some of them little snitches that they got running around there. Undercover people who posing as imams or whatever their little position is. They little undercover snitches gonna point out who them kids is. And some of them might be related to y'all, see. Yeah. Oh no, we just send a letter out and we get with their parents and have a conversation. You know, some more PR. A PR campaign. Nah, man. This is ineffective. This is ineffective. We said, oh, but that's just a bunch of kids out here. They not here for the Eid. They ain't got nothing to do with the religion or with, like we don't see them in videos in niqabs and hijabs and thobes and kefias out there acting a fool. And like we don't see the other little Muslim kids who was also there making TikToks and other videos about what was going on. They just not saying the names of who the people was doing it, but they talking about it. And guess what? They was there for the Eid. But why was they standing outside like that though? Because y'all had metal detectors. And then it just turned into, hey, why go in there? all the cool Muslims out here, we out here drawing. Why y'all ain't in there? Man, because such and such and them over there, they got their weapons, we got ours. They already announced publicly that it's going to be metal detectors. So we'll just stand outside with our weapons. Man, Muslim home, man. Let's start establishing them. Let's start focusing on them. Because it all starts at home, man. But you got to have a proper education and a proper understanding. And a lot of it is going to take some soul searching, as they say it. Islamically, I'm going to put it in the Islamic terms. You're going to have to really look deeply and pay attention to your nafs. Right? You're going to have to really look deeply into your nafs and take some accountability for yourself. Y'all sitting up having a problem with people doing exactly what y'all brought to the ummah. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got a problem with people acting up on the exact same behavior that they learned from y'all. Take some accountability for it, man. It's another Eid in a couple of months. And it's going to be even warmer than it is now. Right? What precautions have y'all got? It's going to go on again. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, from my own eyes, it's been going on since 2017. Starting with the adults. What are precautions? Some more PR campaigns? Man, Allah guide us all, man. Muslim homes, man. Let's start working on them and develop them, man, because it's going to start at home. Better homes, better society. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.